SCPs are very fun, honestly. I really like SCPs and the project as a whole, the SCP project, whatever you want to call it. I really find it very interesting. Like it's a, for those who don't know, I don't think there's many people who don't know, but it's an online web site where people just post ideas about SCPs, these fictional monsters and phenomena that have to be contained by the titular SCP Foundation. And these are not written as stories most of the time, they're just written as cold research papers, completely analytically, which adds to the intrigue. Like the idea there's an foundation that's like a shadow government type thing that's controlling the flow of information in this world is truly very interesting to me. And it's just great, actually. I really like the SCPs. Like there was a time when I was like really deep into, not really deep, but I was fairly deep into the SCP Foundation and all of the multiverses, because of course there are multiverses. Well, it's not made by one person, because in nobody going to write detailed notes about like 5,000, maybe 7,000, 8,000 individual creatures. Nobody is going to do that. So there's instead an community of people who write stories for these SCPs, and I find them very interesting. There's a problem that I keep running into. I can't remember the SCP's name because they're numbers. So correct me if you wish to. Not even correct me, but add the numbers down below if you want to, because well, I can't remember them. No way I'm gonna remember those things. But there are multiple types of, well, SCPs. There are Euclid, safe, then Euclid, and then another class that is right above them that I cannot remember. Safe just means that they don't do any harm. Euclid, medium danger, they can do harm, but they're contained. And the highest level is they can end the world, which is quite the big jump. That is why most of the SCPs are Euclid, middle of the tier. They can't destroy the universe with the breath, none of that. That's just not what happens. And there are many multiple, as I said, storylines, and I will go into them. But another way of categorizing them is by their abilities. Some can warp reality, some can regenerate, some can some are anti memes, which just means that they can't be informationified. You can't write about them because, well, you can't. It's just their nature. And it's fascinates me. Like another one of the stories that find interesting is that of a SCP Foundation from another world being isekai'd into our world, or anti-isekai'd, I guess, into the SCP Foundation world, and entering the foundation anti the other world foundation building, and people finding horrors in them, which is honestly par for the course, considering most of this is horror. Like of course it is. Like one of the most popular SCPs that I again can't remember the name of because I just can't. It's a lizard that can regenerate to anything and adapt accordingly, and it comes with chaos, and it's Euclid because of course it's of course it is Euclid. And another one is that of the shy guy, the only person who I can remember the name of, because well, of course I can. So the shy guy is a person who's, if you see the image of, he will kill you. Like if you see his face in image form, be it a picture, be it you actually seeing his face, any of that, you're just going to be offed immediately. Well, not immediately, but he will come after your ass to off you. And he's again Euclid. And there's another one. Basically, is he's this the weeping angels. if they broke your neck and were much faster. Like if you blink when you're watching him, you're dead. Like you're just dead. No chance for you to survive. You're dead. It's very interesting. Another tale that is much sadder is of where did the dragons go or something like that, which is an SCP who was a box who would spew out paper dragons, a lot of paper dragons, and they would be parading around and doing fantastical things. But then the parading stopped for a while, and then a note came that the dragon's world came with us with like six dragons. That the dragon's world is in danger and we can't manifest fully, only in paper form. And then nothing, because of course. Then a few more months later, another letter comes with like three people, three dragons. And they're like pleading with the SCP Foundation, not the SCP Foundation, but what they think to be their master or their creator, about whom the SCP Foundation knows nothing about, because of course they don't. And they start telling like these guys with you're not believing in us, we can't come here, we just can't. And a few months later, two dragons come, which are like, it's bad, please just help us, oh my god, we're gonna die. And then a few more months later, an entire war blows up inside, and there's just paper balls being thrown out, this flesh being thrown out everywhere. And then they come up with like one crumpled piece of paper. Dragon comes up writhing and then crumples up, and then when they read, you you didn't believe in us, but we do believe in you, but we can't live here anymore, and we're going. And then they leave. And I really like this because I like this story, because the original story is much better. Like my dumbass is doing no justice to this. The original story is lovely. If you have to go, just go and read it or watch it from the numerous SCP Foundation channels. It's just great. It's beautiful. Another story that I remember about the SCP Foundation is that they find a plane, and that plane has dead bodies, and when they capture the plane, them dead bodies become zombies and start invading the facility, and chaos ensues. And all of these tend to be very dark because of course, like, the precedent was set real high from the beginning, off the get-go, and it has stayed that way for most all SCPs, except a few safe ones. Like there's one of these, there's a blob goop thing, whatever you want to call it, that crawls around. It crawls around. It's very cute, like a dog, and it makes you happy. And if it tickles you, it's called the tickle monster. Great, love it. And there's obviously there's an SCP, literally God. They got god God in there locked up, because of course they do. Of course they do. And then another one of those SCPs is that it has a giant storyline. Like, it has many storylines, because of course, and some SCPs tend to repeat themselves, like SCP-0 and SCP-1. They are very common. SCP-1s are most of the stories that are competing canons that are in the SCP Foundation. And if you go into the canon side, no, I mean the canons side, you will find a lot of religious imagery, because of course people tend to use religious imagery, not imagery but wording, very often. And if you go to the SCP-000 side, they're just mostly memes. Like if them SCP-000s comes up, eh, they're just ignored. They don't exist, because what, they don't. And it's just fun to read most of these. Like some of them aren't as creative, but again, if you have 5,000 or maybe at this point probably 8,000 entries, you're bound to have some stinkers, which is fair, I guess, because the actual good stories tend to be very fun and a joy to listen to. Because of course I listen to all of these because I cannot read for the life of me. Like I don't want to read for the life of me, and that's why I tend to listen to most of this. But besides, but it's just fun for me to just imagine these creatures existing somewhere in the world and being held by the government. Like it's fun to just imagine these things, which makes it even better to actually see people writing them, putting them down in document form and redacting it as if it's very official, which I honestly like this community because a few years ago there was a copyright scandal, not scandal, but a copyright problem that was taking place in this community. So in this community, if you reference the original creator, you can basically use any content whatsoever, but you have to reference the original creator because, well, that would be if you don't reference the original creator, you're going, that's copyright, that's completely enforceable. That's the rules on the site. You can reference anyone on the site if and only if you also reference the original creators, anything, any creation whatsoever. And many people have taken advantage of this, not in a bad way. Like the people make games, people talk about it like how I am talking about it, and more people in the actual SCP Foundation wiki, not wiki, but website, use each other's character all the time. That's just fun and dandy even. But a few years ago, a Russian dude tried to abuse this system of you can use it only if you list the name and use the Russian SCP Foundation wiki, not Russian SCP website. I guess they make their money off merchandise, which is perfectly fine. I mean, you can sell merch on it, I think, and well, people do. But this person who was in Russia was abusing this system and completely overshadowing all the creators on the site, which was not good. I mean, just as I said, copyright. If it is a copyright claim if you don't reference the original creators, and he was obviously not referencing them, so he got struck with a copyright claim. But he was in Russia, so they had to raise like $1 million, and they actually did it. And that's about as far as I know about this story. And I expect it has an happy ending because, well, SCP Foundation exists today and it tends to have a fairly good community. And I really don't think if 5,000 people had written, not 5,000 but more than 5,000 stories are written on there by all sorts of people who care for the site enough to write it on it, would appreciate somebody just coming in and taking all of that from them. And it's perfectly fine. I really like that they actually did something about it. Makes you hopeful for the future of humanity. I really find SCP and SCP Foundation and all related to SCP very interesting. And it's just fun, honestly. If you the more serious side of it, it's fun. The more joke side, the more lol sides are fun in a different way. And that's really what makes this so special in my opinion. So yeah, that's about it for me. Bye.